It's never good for a celebrity's career when they get caught cheating on their significant other, right? But it's much worse when you base your entire reputation and branding on how good of a spouse you are and how much you love your partner. And when you do get caught cheating in those circumstances, it's the kind of thing that makes people never see you the same way again. No, that's not the time I'm talking about. No, that's not what I mean either. Yep, that one, that's what we're talking about today. Okay. And you probably know who the Try Guys are by now, but if not, let's briefly summarize. The Try Guys are a group of 4 people who got started producing videos on BuzzFeed. Eventually, they started a series together where they would try stuff. And they're guys, so you see how the name, you get it. Okay, great. And as time went on, the 4 members became closer and closer friends, and the series gained more and more mainstream popularity. And so eventually, the 4 members decided to strike out on their own and separated from BuzzFeed. And the thing that's really important to know is that each of these 4 members each have their thing, that one thing that they stake their branding largely on, right? So Eugene is the cool, mysterious one, Zach is the neurotic one, Keith is the enthusiastic one, and Ned is the married one. That was literally his whole thing. So you can already see why it's really bad if he were to be the one who got caught cheating on his wife, right? Spoilers, he was the one who got caught cheating on his wife. So, and in order to make a video that Hank Green might approve of, we are going to avoid speculation as much as possible and stick to the facts because I've never seen something like this before online. So rumors began circulating that Ned was spotted making out with an engaged employee at a nightclub. So first of all, Ned, you're a moron. But as these rumors developed, they were initially met with skepticism. I mean, for example, the photos and videos provided were really blurry. It looked like him, it's a passing resemblance, but it wasn't enough to say with confidence, oh yeah, that's Ned. And while the Try Guys didn't directly respond to these rumors, people began noticing that Ned stopped being featured in their videos. In fact, some viewers began noticing that it seemed like he was there on the day recording, yet was taken out in editing. And so Keith, for example, has a series where he eats everything on a menu and will often have guests come and try certain dishes with him. And people noticed that the last entry in that series was missing a few menu items, almost as if the menu items that Ned sat down for were taken out, because Ned wasn't in that video. And also the social media of employees of their company began to change to reflect an issue. Who's unfollowing who's deleting photos, etc. And so while these rumors circulated, I think the last thing anyone expected was straight up confirmation, but that is what we got. Ned eventually released a statement saying, "Family should have always been my priority, but I lost focus and had a consensual workplace relationship." Nice wording. "I'm sorry for any pain that my actions have caused to the guys and the fans, but most of all to Ariel." Way to bury the lead and mention your wife last in the list of people that's affected. "The only thing that matters right now is my marriage and my children, and that's where I'm going to focus my attention." If those are the only thing that mattered, why did you... Whatever, not going to touch on that. Also, not for nothing, but I can't help but feel like the relationship was only ended because he was caught, not because he was genuinely remorseful. So, you know, there's that. And one of the notable things about this statement is the wording of a consensual workplace relationship, which implies that this might not have been a short-term affair, but rather an ongoing thing. At the same time, Ariel released this statement. "Thanks to everyone who has reached out to me. It means a lot. Nothing is more important to me and Ned than our family. I wish that was true about Ned, but I won't say more because I'm not making fun of the victim here. And all we request right now is that you respect our privacy for the sake of our kids." And so yeah, this confirmed that there was this affair from the guy who staked his entire reputation on how much he loves his wife, on how good of a husband he is. And alongside these statements, even the Try Guys released an official statement, in which they said that Ned Fulmer is no longer working with the Try Guys. As a result of a thorough internal review, we do not see a path forward together. We thank you for your support as we navigate this change. So his ass got fired. If you didn't understand that, his ass got fired, which is a huge deal as Ned was one of the founders of the company. Like, I've never seen an instance of this in online media where a founder gets pushed out like this, like a public-facing founder. And I will kind of just say one thing. You know what's really nice about not making like celebrity gossip videos the second a rumor starts for that sweet, sweet clout? I don't have to sift through a million speculation threads and all of the different rumor threads in order to make this video because it's been straight up confirmed. So I'm proud of my integrity here. It saved me a lot of work today. And so if it wasn't obvious enough, this led to a lot of backlash being aimed at Ned because, again, his entire branding was that he loves his wife. That was literally everything he talked about in the videos. That was his character on the channel. And this negative attention is leading to other not so great moments from Ned to be called out, such as in a podcast where he told an employee that she would change her mind on not having kids because, quote, her biological clock would be ticking.
I don't know. I have a lot of 40-year-old friends, I will say.
No kids, 35. Good luck fighting that biological clock.
She doesn't want kids, maybe.
Which, is a weird thing to say to a woman. There's no other way to look at it. And, of course, now you have everyone making threads about how they knew Ned was bad all along, and they knew he was weird all along, and they knew this was coming all... The general things you see where as soon as a content creator gets canceled, everyone's suddenly clairvoyant. Whatever. And the one thing that I will say about Ned and my own personal experience with their content is he always came off to me as really fratty, like someone deeply ingrained in frat boy culture, and I just don't like fratty people. That's my 2 cents, but I didn't see this coming. I'm not going to pretend to have seen that. So, bottom line is, Ned got fired for cheating on his wife. And I don't know how to feel about that. The thing is, I'm usually not in favor of firing people from their jobs for what they do in their personal lives, right? Not a fan of that. So when someone gets fired because they were like a dick in a supermarket for a few minutes, I don't support that. I think it's not a good thing to do. But when you're working in online entertainment, then your image is entirely based on how likable you are. So if people don't like Ned, then his presence would hurt the Try Guy's company. And also, the person he had this affair with was a subordinate. So now you have people having conversations about whether or not this woman could have even possibly consented because there was a situation with the power dynamic. Maybe she felt pressured to hook up with him because he was her boss. And the one thing I'm not a fan of is someone saying that consent is never possible under X circumstances because it leads to someone choosing to cheat on their partner and saying, oh, I didn't cheat on you, I was drunk, when they were still in control of their actions. Or, oh, I didn't cheat on you, there was a power dynamic, when they wanted to engage in that relationship. I think saying never is slippery, but in this particular case, it depends on if the power dynamic between them was abused, and that'll come out in time, I'm sure. That question, though, of whether or not she was in a position where she could consent could lead to a sexual harassment lawsuit against the company, which is probably why the company wanted him to leave, or at least it certainly helped. And it also explains why he specifically worded his statement as a consensual workplace relationship, to avoid her saying that it wasn't consensual, even though it wouldn't do anything, but you know. But then also for the question of whether or not he should have been fired, he was in broad daylight. He wasn't trying to hide this. And so he made his marriage part of his company's brand. So it's not like he was careful of hiding it, unless he thinks this is what was careful, because all I can imagine is Ned going, wait, I did everything right. I didn't try to hide this relationship at all. I was doing it in public, even though I'm a celebrity entirely known for loving his wife. And it was a subordinate. It was someone who worked for me. So I don't get how I could have done this any better. It's just really funny how stupid this dude is, especially for a guy who constantly brags about going to Yale. So now I'm just convinced they'll let anyone in. So overall, I mean, I feel like firing him was the right move. I respect the balls and the Try Guys for doing it. I didn't see that coming. And I do think overall the situation is just a really good lesson in branding. When you brand yourself entirely around one thing, it's a really bad look when that one thing ends up not being true. There's a reason why Keemstar is untouchable. His entire branding is that he's a scumbag. So when he acts like a scumbag, you're not surprised. If Keemstar helps an old lady cross the street, then that would probably end his career. And if you're doing content creation or any kind of branding, I'm not saying to go to the Keemstar level of extreme of your whole reputation being that you ruin lives. Don't do that. But it is a bad idea to put yourself on a pedestal as a content creator, because the second anything you do wrong is exposed, you're going to lose everything because you put yourself on a pedestal. Don't do it. And also, don't monetize your relationships. It is never a good idea. Every time I have seen someone monetize their relationship, it ends badly because someone does something wrong in their relationship or they break up and it's like, hey, the one thing I knew about you isn't true. So then why should I still support you? What do you have left to offer? Nothing. And I mean, they monetized this relationship to the point that they sold cookbooks and other products around their relationship. And they even did relationship seminars. And so people feel cheated here because they made literal merch of their relationship, and so people who bought that merch now feel like they did so under false pretenses. Also, just a random funny fact that I found while I was researching this video was that Ned straight up told a random dude he had never met before that his marriage was probably better than said random dude's. I mean, he was on a polygraph, but still, like, this dude had an ego about his marriage.
Ned, I don't know if you noticed, but Manson to the left of you also has a wedding ring on. You think you have a better marriage than John?
I assume so, yeah. You know, he's older. Marriages tend to, you know, not get as good as they get older. But like, I don't know. We got stuff that we deal with. Everybody does.
I'll kill you right here.
And on the bright side, when the Try Guys have to rebrand to get away from this controversy, at least they only have to change one letter, right? And by the way, it's worth noting that if you liked watching me dissect this topic and want to see me do it again, YouTube thinks that across my entire channel, there is one video that you're going to get the most out of, and it's this one. So maybe check it out after leaving a like. Appreciate it. I just can't believe this man had everything going and threw it away to make out in a New York nightclub. Like, fellas, come on. We're better than this, right? Like, if you're gonna throw away your entire life's legacy, it should at least be for hand stuff in a Target parking lot, right? Have some self-respect. Bye!